Sorry to keep you waiting.
How the hell did they miss out on murder drones? I mean, what's not to like? It's a jovial tale of robots lethally murdering other deadlier robots. And then humans! But what's your stance on Kirby's? Murder Drones is created by Liam Vickers, best known for Cliffside, Indonesian Cube, and Let's Split Up. And the series is produced by Glitch Productions. Now, Murder Drones stands out among Glitch's portfolio, especially if you consider it consists of Meta Runner, Sunset Paradise, and freaking SMG4. Gee, somebody better call Ripley's Believe It or Not, because this is just unbelievable. The show revolves around two types of drones, and before you ask, don't worry, we'll get to homicide in a bit. Worker drones, intended to mine exoplanets for humans working for the company J.C. Jensen. The humans blow up the core of an exoplanet named Copper-9, and before you know it, they're extinct. This leaves the worker drones free to do anything they want, including, you guessed it, reproduction. Do you think robots can grasp the concept of giving birth? Do you think robots can defy virginity? Anyways, J.C. Jensen does not approve of this, and just to keep him in for the night, they dispatch murder drones. See, I told ya. We're then introduced to Uzi, and I did not expect her to be the main character, but she does sort of make up for it. Her favorite things are talking about a railgun and bragging about being an edgy, angsty, disenfranchised teenager. Which is probably the least of any robot's worries, but okay. Her father, Khan, is a super famous inventor of doors, which are, in fact, his real daughter. One night, she decides to sneak out to the corpse house to collect the final spare piece for her railgun. It's here she meets Serial Designation N, a good-natured, naive murder drone. One of three. The others being V, a vicious, rampaging maniac, and J, the loyal yet threatening leader of the group. Uzi leads the murder drones for her father's stores and causes total, unmitigated bloodshed. Well, technically it's oil shed, and they actually do need to suck that oil to prevent overheating and dying, so that's completely justified. Jay implants a virus onto N, which Uzi immediately fixes using her father's wrench. Which makes me wonder, why did she throw it away at the end of the pilot? And speaking of the end of the pilot, it goes out with a bang. N and Uzi versus V and J. Who can ask for any more? After that's finished, something's up with Uzi. And she briefly details her newest mission, to destroy all humans. But really, we don't deserve to die. We humans have achieved multiple things, like, we allowed this to exist. Okay, maybe we do deserve to die. That was a doozy. Yes, Murder Drones is really that hard to explain. And it's weird, we're only in the pilot and yet I already look like a nutcase trying to explain it all. So now that we've finally got the story out of the way, oh man do I love the art style. The setting of Murder Drones goes for this dystopian, wintry, tundra-like aesthetic, and I dig. It really accentuates how cold and murky Copper-9 is. The characters are walking manifestations of the phrase dress to kill. All of them have great fashion sense. Except for V. Why is your crotch fashionably exposed like this? Why? And let's not forget to mention the hair. Silky, smooth, glossy. I mean, look at Uzi's hair. So, word went back. People might call it a fetish. Now I'm gonna talk about my favorite characters, and spoiler alert, one of them is an N. Well, that brick almost hit me. Now everybody loves N, just for being himself. He's N. He's as lovable as David from Cam Camp. You wouldn't trade both of them in for the world. But no, my favorite character would have to be Uzi. When she isn't bragging about how angsty or edgy or disenfranchised she is. Like, I get it, you haven't listened to Pretty Odd? I like Serial Designation J more than I really should. She talks in business jargon, which is some pretty neat characterization. She also had some cool abilities and weapons that might have been used creatively if she didn't die at the end of the pilot, and why did they make it happen? That is a pretty cool side character. He's like a jock, but with some actual depth and character underneath him. And may I add something? If the show is gonna give all of these worker drones names, some of which being dead, I expect some or all of them to be fleshed out in the first season. Just saying. I may not be the first one to point this out, but before I forget, Murder Drone shares lots of similarities with Internation Cube. And I know, they're both created by Liam Vickers, so it's completely coincidental, but I could go on all day on what they share. But just for the sake of the video's runtime, I'm just gonna post one example. The worker drones and the murder drones have similar builds to Icon. Mainly the head shape, this trash can torso design, and their face just being a huge visor. Also, strangely enough, I think Portal might have also influenced Murder Drones a bit. I stumbled upon Murder Drones around the same time I played Portal 1 and 2 about, 7 billion times. And my point could really be dumbed down to all robots are murderous, but hear me out. For whatever reason, the Murder Drones soundtrack includes Wheatley's theme in many, many occasions. I'm not joking, take a listen. And finally, the final section of finality, because this video can only contain a finite amount of sections. Where does the show go from here? I mean, what do I think the show should go from here? Well, tell the world that I, Scout Sunset, will only watch Murder Drone Season 1 if A. Jay returns, or B. Uzi keeps her father's wrench and becomes a mad inventor, giving Anne all sorts of crazy modifications. I want N to become a full-on mecha by the end of the season. Also, Khan and Thaj to become main characters. If you want a dark, mindless, exhilarating sensory overload, while also tolerant of very cringy lines about making out with your hypothetical boyfriend, pirating anime, and being edgy, then Murder Drones is for you. So what are you waiting for? The pilot is available to view on YouTube, which is already a huge plus. Also, Murder Drone Season 1 has been greenlit, so if you like the pilot, you can continue supporting the series by checking out the teaser. And while you're at it, I recommend Meta Runner by Glitch Productions and Internation Cube by Liam Vickers. Basically, please support the show and the crew behind it. Please. Because Murder Drones is great, but don't just take my word for it. We've got a special guest. You're on the air.
Murder Drones is so good, it's fun. He's got some funny angel dust voice actor to play a character.
Amen, brother. You know what I think? I think that thank you for watching sign should just say thank you so much for sticking around because, yeah, it's been over a year since the last commentary video. But seriously, I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'm honestly very glad I can get this out. Remember how wheezy you are, people.